You're part of Constellation now. Part of our family. What you've found, it's the key to unlocking everything.
In Part 2, we discussed the possibilities of Constellation's place in the galaxy and theorized about their connections with the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective. In this video, as we're getting closer to the core of this, we'll say, galactic enigma, we need to examine the various pieces of information and lore that we have so far, in hopes of coming one step closer to the greatest mystery of Starfield. When listening to the narration in the trailer at the beginning of this video, there is an obvious reference to a key, clearly, but not just any key. One that is said to be the key to unlocking everything. To make such a vague yet extraordinary claim is surely a tactic to spur rumor, speculation, and intrigue about the plot of Bethesda's new open world, or should I say open space, adventure, as it is unusual to directly reference a major plot device in an early teaser for such a large production. The knowledge that there is some all-powerful key or device that could seemingly change humanity forever. But to what extent is there knowledge of this key, and what does it have to do with what appears to be blueprints taped to a wall inside of a Constellation vessel? Let's examine these blueprints closer and see if we can make out any relevant information. To start, if we look closely at the top right corner of this blueprint or map, we can see what appear to be smaller pieces of the larger contraption at the top left. In this blueprint, the intricate parts of this device are laid out and labeled separately in order to derive some meaning or correlation between them. The first thing that stands out is the 6 pieces at the top right in their labels. Using the Greek alphabet, they've been labeled Alpha, Beta, Chi, Delta, Epsilon, and Rho. The first 5 labels correspond to the first 5 letters of the modern English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E. But interestingly enough, Gamma is the 3rd letter in the Greek alphabet, not Chi, and Rho obviously does not belong alphabetically to this group. It's possible the reason for this is that they are not just simply grouped together alphabetically or in order of appearance, but because their Greek letter designation corresponds to something else entirely, like constellations. The writing below the 6 pieces is mostly illegible, but if you look very closely, the first words appear to be Delta's constellations sometimes, which would indicate that the pieces above actually do represent star constellations. It makes a lot of sense when you consider that in Starfield you will be a member of an expeditionary force literally named Constellation. That aside, when thinking about devices or buildings that align with the stars, it's hard not to think of how early Egyptian astronomers achieved this to some degree. The Orion correlation theory suggests they were able to build the pyramids of Giza in position with Orion's belt. Now, if we take a look at the diagram of the machine to the top left, we can see that the uppermost sketch is a top-down view, and just below it, there is a note labeled View from Approach. If this side view of the structure is giving you familiar feelings, it's because we've all seen it countless times before. Now let's pan down to the bottom left. Here we see 3 different sketches clearly labeled from top to bottom, reading rotating rings, 2 rings, and 3 rings. The drawing of the rotating rings has an arrow pointing to where they lie in the image to the right, which seems to be in the center of everything. It appears that there are 3 sets of rings that pass and intersect each other simultaneously through oscillatory motion, or the moving about of objects around a body with a fixed position.
The Mars rover explores the surface of Mars using spinning gyroscopes to provide stability and navigational information.
We've all seen devices with a very similar setup, maybe without realizing it.
Gyroscopes have become essential components of aircraft, ships, robots, and spacecraft.
If you look to the top right corner of the centerpiece image, there's a note that clearly reads, "We have so far been unable to determine what happens in the center." Although it's certainly more complicated in fiction than what I could surmise, I do believe that based on what we know about the practical application of gyroscopes and oscillatory motion, the center referred to most likely maintains the balance or equilibrium of the oscillating rings on the outer edges of this device somehow, possibly through an advanced form of magnetic levitation. On a side note, the star constellation Libra is the 7th sign of the zodiac in astrology, and is considered to represent justice, balance, and equilibrium in the universe. In Part 4 of The Greatest Mystery of Starfield, we'll further explore the meaning behind this strange device and the possibilities of its origin and purpose. I would like to hear what your theories are on this mysterious and plot-centric device, so let me know down below if you've got some interesting information. In the meantime, stay tuned for more Starfield content as we look forward to the future.